Okay.
Hey,
Don't mind my, I'm in costume right
I
now. This
love
is
it. You're
still in a
at
costume.
work.
Yeah.
We are getting real life.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing people trickle in. It is still 1:58. We have a couple minutes before we actually start our topic. But while you guys are joining, I'll just tell you a little bit about what we're doing and who I am, so we can spend the rest of our time with PyroTech Unruly. I'm Mélissa. I'm the founder of Pon Di Beat. I'm also known as Curly Executive. This is one of my companies. We are a dance company in Austin, Texas. We have worked with quite a few people, and we were so blessed to have PyroTech Unruly with us last year for a boat party and for his signature class that I am a big fan of. In today's session, we're going to be talking about his tips for beginners to dance. So if you're new to dance, if you're beginning anything in dance, this will be relevant for you. And this is the first of many conversations that we're having. This is our first inaugural Dance Discovery Week. Why we're doing it is because it is a new decade, y'all. It is 2020. And there are so many people who have come up to me. They're like, I want to get more into dance. I want to either focus more on my career, be on top of it, or I just want to get healthy, get fit. And by now, most people have actually totally quit whatever they've committed to for the new year. So the goal of this series is really to just get people reconnected, help motivate people, and take advantage of the wealth of knowledge that we have here with people like PyroTech Unruly and some of the other people that we have on our lineup. So now that we're here, it's two, so we will be on time. Thank y'all for joining. So I'm gonna start by introducing you. I know
Hmm.
you hate when I do this. I really is very humble.
As
If y'all
long as
don't know
you,
him, I do this in my class and he hates it. But everybody should know how amazing this man is. I absolutely love him. Not only because Pyro Free is one of my favorite steps ever. So Pyrotech Unruly, if you do not know him, he's part of the Pyrotechs. They are creators of several famous dance hall steps like Pyro Free. Also Shake. I'm sorry, I
shake
literally,
more.
I can't, I gotta do it. All right, so Pyro Free, Vanish. If you have not seen their steps, definitely go and check out his latest video from, I think they're beautiful. I absolutely love them. They are my favorites. Not gonna lie. Other things that you should know, he's here at work. He is the hustler. He will work. He's working all the time, y'all. You've seen him with Cardi B. You've seen him with Cranium. You've seen him with Mr. Vegas. He's had millions of views on his videos. It's why some of y'all are here. He's shaking his head, but he's amazing. And more importantly, he's humble and he's an excellent teacher. The last thing I'll say before I hand it over and we actually start what we're here to talk about is that for me, the reason that you're here, and you may not know this, is that I struggle. Like, I still consider myself a beginner. I've been doing dance for a very long time. And as you know, I really do struggle to just let go in class. But when I worked with you, when you had my private with me, like, I had the best time and I actually felt like, oh my God, I'm enjoying this. And so for me, you were the best person that I know to talk about this topic, because you got me to calm down, and that's not an easy task. So with that, did I miss anything?
Well, you said too much, but it's okay.
So with that, let's jump in. So the first thing I kind of want to ask, since we did call this tips for people who are dance beginners, that's a really interesting concept to me. Like, you go into classes and they say, this is a beginner's class, this is a basic class. I talked a little bit about my personal story about still feeling like a beginner after so long. So do you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm not a beginner anymore and everything's automatically easy? Like, are you always a beginner? I just want to talk about that first. What's your take on that?
Well, I think if you're technically trained, like for me, for instance, I never went to school for dance because my genre of dance is a street culture, so I'm kind of more like self-trained
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, and you as you grow along and you find weaknesses within yourself, you're trying to better that. But if you're, I say people who aren't technically trained, I would call them more like beginners because once you're technically trained, even if you're new to a style, there's a level of dance knowledge that you have that crosses over no matter what genre you do.
Hmm.
A basic kickball change, a releve, a turn, like there's certain principles that you use throughout dance in general. So if you're technically trained, I would consider you more like an intermediate almost, no matter what style you use, but not technically trained, then yeah, I think that's right.
But even though you're not technically trained, as someone who does dance hall, do you feel that in some ways you have a lot of moves that are like a vocabulary and that may apply to other forms of dance?
Yes. And it's so funny because again, not being technically trained and evolving as a teacher, those were things I had to learn and I had to study terminology. Like nobody in dancehall would say kickball change. Like that's not a thing in the street. So stuff like that is things you have to learn, and yeah, so definitely.
Cool. So with that, we'll jump into it. What is your first tip for us, for beginners?
Um, First tip is never compare yourself to anybody.
Yes.
So yes, definitely first tip. Never compare yourself to anybody
Never compare yourself to anybody.
at all.
Do
At all.
you compare yourself to other people ever?
I mean, as humans, naturally you do, but it's that second thought process that happens after, and just remembering that at the end of the day, your dance journey and just your journey in life is your own. It's your own unique journey. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. You're not a robot. Anything that you learn, it's something new. You're not
Mhm.
expected to catch it right away. We live in a time that like instant gratification is a thing, and we kind of have to unlearn, like teach ourselves to have patience and enjoy the process rather than being so eager for the result. So
Yeah, and so with that though, I kind of question, so I get it, right? We need patience, we shouldn't compare ourselves. But in this day and age where everybody's being filmed, where people are literally picking, like it's kind of hard when you're in a class, right? And they're like, only these people get to go up because you're not as good, essentially, right? So how do you get to that place where you can say, okay, well, look, I'm in this class, I'm not, I'm not being picked for videos, I'm not getting that airtime, I'm not even getting to practice in certain ways because essentially I'm not as good. How do you kind
well,
of work through that?
the video thing is an interesting concept because depending on the teacher, their reasoning for videos is different. Like if you come into a class from me or my teammates, it's a video is just it's an added feature in the class. So for those who may not be as advanced or who may not be as a beginner, but more like in dance, if you want to train more for like performance and stuff like that, that's something you can use to translate what you just learned onto camera. But even if you're not somebody who wants to do that, it's just a way to, come out your shyness. So the intent behind it, I think if you explain the intent behind the camera, then like psychologically, it gives people a different effect rather than telling somebody, "Oh, you're not good enough. That's the reason you didn't get picked." It has a different psychological effect. So,
Yeah. And to your point, if you're not comparing yourself and if you're not already in that frame of mind,
mhm,
then you're not going to hopefully do that. You
mhm.
mentioned something you were talking about in your classes. So you have a beginner's class, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
pick up yourself for a second because we have to. When is that class? Where can we attend? Tell me about it.
So we teach currently every Monday at Brick House NYC. That's between 6th Avenue and 7th Avenue on 44th Street. Yeah, 44th Street.
Cool. And can we talk about the we really quickly? Who are the PyroTechs? You got two other members.
Yes, I have two other members in my team, PyroTech Prince, AC, and PyroTech Andy. So it's three of us, and that's our team.
So anybody who's watching, make sure you're following all three of them.
Yes, definitely.
So with that, follow. Tip number two.
Um, Tip number two,
And did we get
get
into that?
out.
Because you said patience already. So
Mhm,
I wrote that
mhm.
down as a second tip.
So yeah, we can talk about patience. Yes, patience in the sense again is realizing that you're not a robot. All right. If you break dance down into its like simplest components, all dance is muscle memory.
Hmm.
All it is muscle memory. So when you say like I'm better at this style, or you feel like you're good at this style, all you've really developed is more muscle memory for that particular style. Because the only thing that changes that changes from genre to genre is the muscles that you use in your body
I
to
love that.
do the move. So if you've practiced moving your muscles in that particular way, that's how you eventually develop that skill. So you know, like it feels more comfortable. So again, because we live in a time of instant gratification, you want everything now. You feel like I should get it as soon as I learn it the first time. It should feel comfortable, and does not happen that way. The teacher who you learn from, you don't understand how many years they've practiced that same movement that they teach you now. So you're not gonna look like that, and you probably won't look like that next week. You know, like it takes time. So I
And
always
that's
come, yeah.
okay. Practice. How much should people be practicing? If we're trying to get to like your level, right? If I'm trying to come up there, bust out a move, be picked for a video, whatever, what should somebody expect? Like how much practice? Unruly.
Practice. If the only time you practice is when you go to class, then the only time you'll get better is when you go to class. So practice for me is everything. For me, I'm always, I have on my headphones if I'm on train or something, like I'm always dancing. So you don't realize those are the times that when you're not in class, you're actually, going over what you did or what you can improve. So that body wave is like, probably didn't get it in class, but you're in the mirror in your house practicing that body wave every day. And the next class you go to, oh, this feels just a little bit better than it did yesterday. So you need to be practicing when you're not in class as well.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So we got don't compare yourself, have patience, practice. So I need a little more.
Thinking beginners. I would say study. Um, Study the genre. Um, for if it's something that you're serious about or you seriously want to get better at, I would say study where the movements come from, like the foundation. Pay attention to foundation because again, sometimes what we see that's popular may not be what we need essentially as a beginner. So it's digging within those roots of whatever genre or style that you're learning and learning those basics and going hard on those basics rather than, going for the popular or whatever might be current.
I'm still with you on the roots. I had the opportunity to go to Jamaica, and it changed everything that I thought about dance hall because even though I'd had 10 different teachers here, there was a whole vibe that I could just never fully appreciate until going.
Hmm.
We're
Exactly.
going again. I'm gonna try and get you to come with me.
That's definitely,
You and your
definitely.
crew, but that I think is a big gem. So make sure you're studying the culture. I got to go to Africa Best Dance Camp, mind blown with
Hmm.
what I did not know about
Hmm.
Afro dance.
Hmm.
Everything that I'd seen was Afro beat. There's so many other things. So I love the study. So study, practice, patience. Do not compare yourself to others. And one more. And I have a thought too. We haven't talked about music at all.
We haven't. Um, I would say last tip, just enjoy the process.
Mm.
Like enjoy, embrace failure, embrace struggle, embrace all of those things because at the end of the day, if something is comfortable for you, you're not getting better. So again, the people that you see and the people who you revere as the pros or the advanced person, they're not, they're no better of a human than you are. It's just again, they've went through that process to get to that level. So just enjoy the process. In class, I like to talk about on my book. It's called The Outliers, and
Yes.
in there, they talk about the rule of 10,000 hours. To be a master at anything, it requires 10,000 hours. So if you've only gone to class for 2 hours throughout the day, it's like, so you have to enjoy the process.
That is a Malcolm Gladwell book, guys. Outlier.
Yes.
I highly recommend it too. It is everything. Okay, so we got our 5 tips. For y'all who are still on the call, just a couple things that we want you to know. Number one, thank you for being on this call. There is a lot happening behind the scenes right now with Pon Di Beat and with PyroTech Unruly and several other dancers in the dance hall and Afro space. We are going to be launching some big news this week, so keep tuning in. We're going to summarize this call. We're going to put a recap on, so if you joined a little late, don't worry about that. We'll have that for you. And then we have a special surprise. So if you head over to Pon Di Beat right now and sign up for email, you will actually get a gift from us on the 28th. And I will not say what it is, but I will say that if you are a fan of PyroTech Unruly, you will be very happy with the gift. And it's really not that hard to figure out if you've been looking in our stories recently. We haven't been too good at keeping the secret, but it is going to be awesome. So definitely head over there and sign up. Stay tuned. There's a lot coming this week. Tomorrow we are going to be on with Lily Shepard. She's based in Austin. She has sold out classes all the time. Like, this woman is amazing. Ex-pro dancer, dance with Beyonce, all sorts of stuff. So she's on tomorrow for our next session. Anything else? Do you have anything to talk about? Any classes coming up Monday?
Well, something I forgot to mention,
Yes.
also be yourself. Somebody mentioned it in the comments, and that's so true. Always remember that you're a human first and a dancer second. Sometimes as people, we like to separate life and our personal life and our dance life, when in the end, again, we're humans first, dancers second. You should make it one. Any movement that you ever learn, what the person has given you is the skeleton. He's giving you the structure. Now you have to add yourself in it at all times. So always try to find yourself throughout any movement that you're doing. Yeah. So.
I love that. I cannot say anything that is better than that. So we're going to cut this down. Keep in touch, y'all. Stay in touch with us. I love how I'm like goofy at the end of it. It's like, it always works this way. But I am being myself right now. So follow Pon Di Beat, follow PyroTech, follow PyroTech Unruly, PyroTech Andy, follow PyroTech Prince AC. That is the tongue twister. And definitely sign up for email. We will send you that gift. We are so excited. And thank you so much for your time, Unruly.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. The gems that you dropped today are going to help a lot of people. We're going to get this recap out, and I'm just so thankful that you gave us your time. You're at work. You took a moment. It just means a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Definitely.
Thanks for everybody who commented, and we appreciate you for joining. And please keep in touch.
Yes, definitely.